On today's Moving the Chains, another great new hire interview, Jarrell, a name that's very familiar to the folks in the area. We've got new head coach Tyler Boyd of the Lamar Silver Foxes.
Yeah, great catching up with the new coach Boyd here. He's blazing his own path in the coaching profession, and it's just really cool to see his growth and having the opportunity to catch up with him. So excited about that Lamar program. It's always one of the dominant programs in that classification. So I'm sure he's going to put his stamp on it and ready for this new era there.
No doubt, a really fun interview. Hope you guys enjoy it. Once again, Tyler Boyd, new head coach of the Lamar Silver Foxes here on Moving the Chains.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.
Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jarrell Hendricks. We've got a great interview today, a very special guest, the new head coach of the Lamar Silver Foxes, Tyler Boyd. Coach, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. Like I said earlier, I appreciate what y'all do for high school football in South Carolina. It's amazing. I've been listening to it the last couple of years, and it gives me something to do on my journey to work every morning.
Well, man, we really appreciate it and appreciate the kind words of support for sure. If this is you guys' first time tuning in, be sure to follow us on all social media, Facebook, Twitter/X, Instagram, YouTube, and more at Moving Chains, website movingchains.com, podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Boyd was hired in April. He was the head coach at Williamsburg Academy for the past 2 seasons, going 22-3. Prior, he spent time at Lee Academy, Francis Marion, and Lamar. Coach, let's start there. What's that transition been like, getting from Williamsburg over to now in the building there at Lamar?
It's you would think me being from Lamar and being a coach's son, growing up here for a couple of decades, I'd be very familiar with it. But, a lot of these kids, my players, I don't know them that, I know some of their parents, went to school with some of their parents. But, a lot of the coaches, there's a couple coaches from, been here forever, but a lot of guys I'm having to get to know. And, a lot of familiarities, but a lot of things where it's, we've had a few different coaches here since I was here last. So things are a lot different, but still, football in the community is still the same.
Coach, I know a lot of the listeners are going to know about you, as you mentioned there, and Kevin talked about, your experience in the intro. But if you don't mind giving us some background on, how you got started to this point, in your coaching career, and or how you got started and how you got to this point in your coaching career.
My dad coached football, baseball. We moved to Lamar when I was 2. Been here, went to Francis Marion, and while I was at Francis Marion, I played baseball. But I was helping with football. I think I was a camera guy my freshman year because I wasn't sure how much time I was going to have to help with football. I was a camera guy for the football team for a year while I was playing baseball. And then I started being an assistant coach, I think the next 2 or 3 years at Lamar. And then when I graduated from FMU, baseball coach Abnett asked me if I wanted to help coach baseball there. So I did that for 2 years. And then got a job at Lee Academy as assistant football and baseball coach, PE teacher. Did that for 1 year, and then got a head baseball coaching job at Williamsburg Academy and helped with football for 8 years, and then was the head football and baseball coach the last 2 years at Williamsburg. And now I'm here at Lamar.
Coach, you kind of mentioned it earlier, as a guy that grew up at Lamar, went to school at Lamar, an alum of Lamar. How special is that, man, to be able to be the head coach where you grew up and where you spent so much time and where you graduated from?
Yes, it's crazy. I'm still trying to process it, honestly. It's never coached, my alma mater. Most people don't get to, I guess. But, I don't know, just the sense of pride you have. Like, I've been pulling for Lamar ever since, I left. And now I actually get to coach it. Things have been wide open, so I hadn't really got to think about it a whole lot. But, I know it's pretty cool, especially when I see, young players that I went to school with their parents. Like, that's pretty cool.
Coach, a lot of your experience has been in the SCISA ranks. How has that transition been, coming back over to the high school league? And what did you learn about football over there at SCISA? Kevin's a big SCISA guy. We like to shine a light on those programs. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, I got to coach with some great everybody in SCISA knows, the guys I coached under. Coach David Rankin for a year. And even though I only coached with him for a year, we talk almost once a week about football, and he still picks on me. I would have the board filled up like this one behind me. I was offense coordinator for him for a year, and I'd have it filled up with all kind of plays and stuff. And he'd walk in there and be like, "You can't run all that. These guys can't." Everywhere I've coached, we've been in a small school, so we got to play both ways. You get half as much time putting in plays as you normally would. But learning from him, and then Ken Callahan at Williamsburg Academy, coached under him for a few years, and then Coach Don Shelley. He's probably won more than 10 state championships. So learn from him. On top of my dad, also learning from him throughout my life. But I've got to coach under some great coaches and with some great coaches, and it's been a blessing for me.
Coach, we mentioned you were hired, I think it was April, so maybe a little bit late in the process, you could kind of say there. But, with that said, how is the staff shaping up? Were you able to retain a bunch of guys from the previous staff? Were you able to bring some guys in? And how's that kind of shaking up for you now?
Yeah, well, we kept everybody. One took another job, and we ended up bringing in, here lately over the summer, we brought in two new guys to help. So, we kind of added a coach since last year. So, but most the core group of guys are still here.
Coach, I want to ask about what you're going to do schematically there. From an offense and defensive standpoint, what should we expect from the Silver Fox offense and defense?
A lot of the same if you watched any of our film or film of Williamsburg, but we'll be in a lot of 2-back, one tight end, 21 personnel. You could call it 12 personnel, either way. A lot of gap scheme runs. Traditionally, the last couple of years we've thrown it a little over 60%, run it a little over 60% of the time, and thrown it, just under 40. That's what we want to do. If things are going good, we're going to run it, 65, 70% of the time, and go to the house. Defensively, play a 3-4, be real simple. We're going to slant a little bit, and that's about it.
Coach, you mentioned a few of the guys you've got to coach under, and obviously your dad as well, that have been, big influences on you. Is there anybody else you want to shout out that maybe you kind of really pick some things from, or maybe even some guys now at the college or pro level you like to watch to kind of take, tips from as far as schematically goes?
No, I mean, I've listed the main guys, and John Floyd helped me the last few years. He's been one of my assistants. He's been great learning the game with him, and but a lot of the guys that I've learned from are kind of old school way of thinking. And that's kind of how I am. I mean, honestly, I know you got to be able to run the ball and stop the run, and we got to be tough and disciplined. So, I think I've learned from some pretty successful and great men. And, like I said, that's a blessing.
Coach, in the offseason, we like to catch up with coaches like you, and we do a little bit during the season, but the main part of our program is focusing on the players. Who are some special guys that we need to be on the lookout for this year on your squad?
Zori Pierce, he'll play quarterback and safety. I think he started for at least 2 years at quarterback. He's a great athlete, very smart. We're calling new plays, but it's the same concept. So he's picking up the offense very fast. Man, we got a lineman. I don't even know his name. Meatball. He's one of the return.
Meatball knows who he is.
Yeah. Meatball. Meatball is going to be a big leader up front for us. Messiah Symes also. He's a junior. Roy Vest, a junior that had some starting time last year. And, outside of that up front, we're going to be pretty young, honestly. We have one that really was a starter last year that returned. That's about it. And without naming everybody,
Yeah.
But, Zori's the one everybody knows about. Nigel Eady ran the ball a lot last year, and we're going to count on him at linebacker some. DQ Green started on defense last year, but it's going to be hard to keep him off the field. We're going to have a lot of guys like that.
Coach, at a smaller school, it's tough a lot of times in the spring because you can't get your guys out there because they're playing so many other sports. You don't really have a full spring practice section there. But throughout the summer and maybe some 7-on-7 stuff or whatever you guys did, kind of the off season, what have you been able to learn about your team so far as we get ready to head into I guess this August practice time?
They like to work. I guess one negative I'm seeing is, they get tired. They want to argue with each other a little bit, but I think it's coming from a good place. They're trying to hold each other accountable, and they really care. And that's the main thing I'm seeing is they, like the coaching staff, they help us out by getting on each other and making sure nobody's slacking off. But, that'd be the main thing, I guess.
Coach, we're trying to prep ourselves for the season, looking at early schedules and things like that, going into fall camp here. But do you guys have any jamborees lined up that you're going to participate in before you get into the regular season?
Yeah, Chesterfield.
Coach, obviously you know better than anyone that Lamar has a storied history. It's one of the most storied programs in the state with numerous state titles, numerous big time players, the Hamlins, the Kirklands, all those guys. Does that add any pressure to you knowing that the standard is literally make it to the upper or lower state title game, make it to state title game every year? And kind of what does that add to your plate, I guess, as a coach?
I know going into it and taking the job, you got to know that's, for a lot of people that might be a negative almost. Some people can't handle it. But I'm very aware of it. I'm glad, I want it to be that way. At Williamsburg, we kind of made it that way, the last 4 years we played for it. So, I'm used to it. And, that's the standard not only the community has on us, but that's what we hold each other to. So it may add some pressure, but it's just a part of it. I'm not worried about it too much.
Love that answer, Coach. Obviously you have deep ties to the community there. How have they, embraced you, as you've ascended now from being an assistant, a former player, and alum to being the head coach there? It's been pretty cool hearing from all the people, Facebook especially, all the messages and stuff. I didn't respond to any of them, but I do appreciate y'all if you're listening. Every single thing meant a lot. So it's cool. It's cool hearing from all those people, people I hadn't heard from in over 15 years, hadn't been far away, but, I've been pretty busy during football and baseball season.
Everyday life means everyday expenses. Spend smarter with a Founders Federal Credit Union credit card, offering you low rates and big rewards where it matters most. Enjoy all the benefits of saving while using your Founders Essential MasterCard. Make every swipe and tap count with smart rates, big rewards on select cards, and no balance transfer or annual fees. Because your money should go where you want it to. That's the power of Founders Federal Credit Union. Apply today at foundersfcu.com. Relax. You're with Founders.
Coach, a couple easier ones for you. Maybe on the bus to an away game at your office on a Friday night in a home game. I don't know if you're a big music guy, but if you are, what's in your pregame playlist as you get ready to take the field?
Oh, I listen to everything. Some pretty heavy stuff, honestly, but I'll listen to anything really. But I'm a big I like to get jacked up, so metal.
Okay.
Maybe rap, but
that's the opposite of the theme that we've gotten from the new coaches this series. We've had a lot more people saying that they're mellow. So I actually I like to be jacked up. So I like hearing that from you.
Yeah, I mean, I may appear mellow, but I'm pretty jacked up. I try to hold it in as close to game time as I can, but
I love it. Coach, a question we ask everybody that joins the program. Got to ask about food. I'm embarrassed to say Kevin and I have yet to catch a game down there for Moving the Chains, and that's one of the ones that I have circled. We're going to make it happen. When we do, what is a restaurant in that Lamar area that we have to check out?
All right, Becky's, Crossroads,
Okay.
Crossroads, that and Tina's.
Okay, what are they serving there?
Tina's has everything. She has literally everything. The wings are amazing, teriyaki wings, and I like to go with they have Japanese style fried rice and chicken.
Okay.
They also have cheeseburger, They're Philly cheesesteak, like quesadilla type things. They're really good.
Awesome.
Yeah. I'm in on that.
It's like an old country store, hot dogs, hamburgers. They'll hook you up too.
Yeah, we got to come down there, I guess, in the playoffs and grab something off the smoker, the steaks and stuff like that. So we may do that.
I love it. Well, Coach, obviously Lamar fans are familiar with your dad, J.R. Boyd, the legendary coach, multiple state titles there. How special was that for you getting to, to play for him, and not only play for him, but to get to win a state title with him as well?
Well, I mean, I went to every football camp in the summer or fall, however you want to say it. I spend the night with all the guys. So I was a water boy and ball boy as a kid growing up. So, it probably means a little more maybe. I don't know. It's either way. It's, I remember writing papers when I was in elementary school about the Friday night lights, in Lamar, how everything shuts down and the only thing to do is go to the football game. So it means a lot.
Awesome, Coach. As we wrap things up here, what are some of your goals for the 2025 version of this team and for the program moving forward?
Well, obviously making the state is kind of the standard or whatever. I'd love to get there. But seeing these guys grow, I said it to them yesterday, ultimate goal, we want to see them get better as a football player, off the field, in the classroom, just get better every day. Just improve. We want to be, as coaches, good role models and good leaders and good examples for them. And we just want to see them grow every day. By the end of the season, it's a finished product that, they can be proud of.
Coach, I don't know if this is really a question or not, but I kind of want to ask it for the community anyway. Obviously, I feel like the last couple of years you've mentioned Lamar has had some changeover. You had a couple coaches, be there for a year, a couple of years, whatnot. How will you, I guess, explain to the community that, hey, like I want to be here for the long haul. This is where I want to be. This is my, this is my dream job almost.
Yeah, it is. I didn't know if I was going to ever get a chance to come back here, but I've lived 20 minutes away. I don't have to move. I'm not planning on moving. We've been living there for 10 years now, and I'm here as long as. If we make it to state, I'll be here. But if I don't make it too far, they may run me out of here. But I plan on being here for a while.
Well, this has been great. I want everyone to go check out Coach Boyd and the Lamar program on social media. I know they do a great job posting updates on their kids and their programs. Certainly check them out on there. Like I mentioned, follow us on all social media, our website, movingchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Jarrell, anything else before we let him go today?
Yeah, Coach Boyd, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. We really appreciate your time. It's busy. We're catching you at the end of July, so it's about time to hit the grass there and bump some heads. So we're excited to see what you're going to do and put your stamp on the program. And again, we're just thankful for your time today.
And I thank y'all for having me on. Like I said, I enjoyed the show, and I don't know if I'll listen to this. I hate hearing myself talk, but I'll catch some more episodes throughout fall.
I'll let you in on a secret. I don't really listen to many of I don't like to hear myself talk too, so it's the same thing.
Oh man, we appreciate you, Coach. Man, look forward to stopping by, practice our game, and get to see you here soon. And best of luck. All right.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Get ready for the ultimate South Carolina high school football experience with Movin The Chains. From previews to recaps, we've got you covered. Dive into our expert preview shows, predicting winners and sharing insights. Then join us post-game for the thrilling recaps, exclusive interviews, and highlights you won't find anywhere else. Plus, connect with fellow fans on our Friday night spaces on Twitter/X. No one covers South Carolina high school football like us. Join us at Movin Chains on all social media platforms and visit movinchains.com today.